Welcome. Thank you for watching or listening today. Are you living with or impacted by diabetes? Have you ever said, I want to lower my A1C, lose weight, or live healthier? If you, like me, are living with diabetes, then the truth is we all have wanted to change how we eat or exercise or do something. Have you ever wondered or asked yourself, where do I start? How can I change my life or health or anything for that matter if I am unsure about how to start? Today, I'm going to share how we can create a formula that will change how we live with diabetes. Would you like to have the ability to achieve your personal health goals so you can live your ideal form of life? I want you to actually know and believe that yes, we can change our condition and live extraordinary lives with diabetes. Today, Bob and I are going to discuss how our head, our heart, and our hands have played critical roles in the creation of our current life circumstances and how we can use them to transform our lives from common, that's typical or ordinary, to uncommon, rare, exceptional, and just extraordinary, not common. I truly believe that everything has a formula or a routine that delivers a result. Do you have a formula for success? Well, mine is R equals D times A. Well, what does that mean? Well, I believe that R equals my current reality, my quality of life, my health, etc. D is my dreams or the vision that I have for the results that I would like in my life. And A is the action that I take or focused energy I put into the achievement of that result. So to put it in simple phrases, my reality is equal to the dreams I act upon. Now let's dig into this a bit and discover how we can transform our lives from a common to uncommon diabetic life. Now remember, the content that we will discuss today is from our personal experience and opinion and is provided for your information and education purposes only. It's not intended as a substitute for medical, psychological, or any other professional advice. So just check with your doctor or healthcare professionals before you make any changes to your routines. So Bob, how are you on this beautiful West Coast day?
Happy Tuesday, buddy.
Happy Tuesday.
Got the hike. We got the hike going 6K today.
Beautiful. So the
I was
thing
in
you're
the gym
doing,
yesterday. 75s. Pushing
woo,
15 reps to 75s.
beautiful.
Yep.
Dumbbell presses, that's a favorite of mine. So, the question really comes down to that I was talking about is what are the three things that control our health? Or in my case, or any of us that are diabetics, our diabetic health. Well, what do you think the main thing that really impacts us the most would be?
I'm looking at it. Your head.
That's right. Right there, my big head.
It's funny. Whether it be leadership skills or character skills or personality or our health, it all starts with it's your brain. We're just what we think. At the end of the day, we are what we think. We do what we think.
So well said. We've talked a lot about this, but I am ... Whatever I think I am, there I am. And there's a great book Vincent Peale wrote that a man is as he thinketh. It's a book I'd highly recommend for anyone. Just a short little read, but it will literally change the way we think about ourselves and the experience we have in our life, how our attitude really drives our altitude, right? So what do you do to affect how you're thinking about a particular thing every day?
Well, there's a big challenge there because I am a creature of habit. I'm a creature of doing things just every day the same way that I've done them. And for me to actually change that habit, I've got to learn something or I've got to be inspired or be motivated. But mostly that comes from this thing called awareness. And so you actually have to have this perspective that you want to change, that change would be good for you.
Yeah.
That's based on some knowledge. So you go to your doctor, your endocrinologist, and the endocrinologist says something, and that triggers a thought in your head.
Yeah.
And then you go, geez, I should take care of that. My A1C's been out of whack. It's been too high. So it's a thought like that spurs you to start to think about doing something different. But we both know, my friend, that change is radically hard, like amazingly hard for people. I think I
Agreed.
just read a recent statistic that said that only 3% of executives actually set goals for themselves, like self goals. Only 3% of highly educated executives have written goals.
Yeah.
And of those 3%, 70% don't even come close to achieving them. So we're talking about high functioning, high educated people that at the end of the day, they can't change. They don't change.
I don't disagree with you at all. In my own life, I've always been a person of routine like yourself, but my routines are always driven around the result that I want, right? That goal, as you just mentioned. And something for me that I came to an awareness of that's really transformed my life and the way I think is that power of proximity, i.e., us, our friendship, the people that have experienced my pain, right? That have been where I am and have overcome it. Those are the people that I want to surround myself with. And that's a real shift, because to change means we need to actually embrace uncertainty. We actually got to run right at that pain. And I don't care, as a diabetic, if it is that A1C that's at a 10 or whatever the number is, that does not define me. What it does is it says, I have to run at it and go, what do I need to embrace or change to have an impact on that? And that thought that it's possible for me to change is critical. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and that is a very important concept. Is like, is it possible? Most people have tried to change and they failed. They failed to lose weight, failed to check their blood sugars regularly, failed to eat properly, failed to
Yeah.
shop properly, right? And what
Yep.
happens is that becomes the habit. The failure becomes the habit. Thus, is it possible is a really good question for people to say. Is it possible for me to lose weight? Right? And the answer would be unconsciously, no, it's not possible. Well, so there are really three stages before you can change. So we always talk about taking action, right, bud? Well,
Yep.
okay, take some action. But there's three stages before you take action.
Right.
One is called pre-contemplation, then there's contemplation, and then there's preparation. So what happens, and this often just happens um, in an instance, right? So hey, it's time for us to lose weight, says your doctor. And you go, so you start to pre-contemplate that. And then all the emotions come in, that those feelings. It's like, I tried that before. I can't do it. Or I lost weight before and I gained it right back. Right. All those self-doubts start to hit in. And what happens is you often just throw it away. You throw that idea away. It's like, it'll never happen. That's the pre-contemplation stage.
That's basically what you're saying, is we have to see it. We have to have that dream, that vision, to see it first. Once we can actually see it and write it down, it becomes real. So
Well,
continue on that.
right on. It moves from pre-contemplation to actual contemplation. We are
Yeah.
actually considering it in a serious way.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And so that's a big barrier. So how do you get from pre-contemplation and letting your emotions rule you, that your primitive brain, right, shuts you down, throws it out, throws the idea out, versus, okay, I'm going to seriously consider that. If you get through that stage where you're seriously considering it, then the preparation stage is essential, where you start to actually think about it. It's like, how can I possibly lose weight? I need a buddy. I need a buddy on this. I need a personal trainer. I need to change my diet. I need a nutritionalist, right? Those sorts of things are the preparation stage. And those are all before you take action. And the
Right.
action is driven from those other things. Is who's the nutritionalist? Who's the private trainer? Who's my buddy friend?
Yeah.
These are sort of things.
I love that. And, I think that whole point, this is a great segue. So we see it, we have that dream, we start to contemplate, we get that hope going. Hey, I can do this with some help, as you just said, getting around into proximity and going, who would I be? And we're asking these, okay, what do I want? Why do I want it? Now, how am I going to do it? We need to shift that even from a how to a who do I need to be around to help tell me how to do it. But more importantly than that is the second part, from the head to the heart. We need to feel something, because our emotions, as you just alluded to, really is what's going to create our creates the motion to take action, right? So maybe expand on that third point with how these emotions drive that, Bob.
Yeah, and that's a huge one. And what we're not very good, humans are not very good at identifying emotions. Like, we can feel it, but we don't identify it. It's like you don't. It's not because the brain is divided into three parts: that primitive brain, the middle brain, and the logical brain, right? And the emotional section is separate and distinct from the logical brain. And once you're in your emotions, you can't access your logical brain to actually identify the emotion. It takes some practice. It's a good habit to get into. But listen to these emotions, buddy, and tell me what you notice: anger, sadness, disgust, anxiety, fear, happiness, motivation.
Well, immediately, as soon as you started mentioning anger and fear, etc., I could feel my shoulders actually just moving forward, and my energy just come out of me. And then when you began to talk about motivation, I'm like, okay, I can take a breath. There, I can actually breathe. I can move forward. I can do something about it. There's that hope that we talked about, right? Because my emotion, what it really reminded me is that my emotion really is what creates the experience of my life, right?
But you'll also note just the amount of them, right? You got
Yeah,
anger,
so
sadness,
many.
disgust, anxiety, fear, five big ones, and then you have happiness.
Yeah,
And you have joy, you have ecstasy, right? But that's a
yeah,
subcategory of happiness. So it's like our negative emotions are powerful, powerful things,
right
especially
on.
fear, anxiety, anger, disgust with ourselves.
Yeah, and
Disgust with ourselves, a totally hidden emotion. So hard to be compassionate with ourselves if we're secretly disgusted.
right. And this emotions, our head and our heart, it's such a short distance between them. And this battle goes on in me all the time, every day. I'll do a blood test and I think I'm good. And then all of a sudden, my sugar's I forgot to bolus. My sugar's at 15. I'm
And
like,
what's your
oh.
thought? What's
My
your thought
immediate
there?
thing is I go, what? How stupid am I? Right. And those
Negative
things
feeling.
that I am, remember I said that emotion, then I immediately become frustrated and angry. And what I've been learning, and these are the things that we want to teach in our program, is what are the questions? How do I shift? How do I interrupt this mental process, these emotions that are ineffective, that are not helping, versus going, you know what? I can understand it logically in my head. I forgot to bolus. No problem. I'm going to do it now. And I take action and I move forward. And now I can transform that. Well, what's great about this? Well, I'm going to set an alarm, as an example. I'm a pump user, or I'm going to set a thing on my iWatch that reminds me to do a test at noon before I eat, or whatever that is. We can put a routine in place to actually help us. But these emotions are ineffective, or they can be very effective. So I start to ask questions that are going to drive my emotional feeling into the direction I want it to go, right? Because that's going to take us into the most important part of hands. They're
Yeah.
tied again.
Before we get to hands, though, human beings are notoriously hard on ourselves. We're notoriously hard on ourselves. We we're much more liable to be compassionate towards another's misfortune than
Yes.
our own selves. So
True.
where we'll say, "Geez, I really feel empathy for you," because we can see it, right? We can
Yeah.
see that person needs help, that person's in trouble, that person needs comfort or whatever it is. But we don't see ourselves like that. We say, what did you just said? I feel stupid. I feel dumb. I feel angry, right?
You know what's so
This
interesting?
is the human condition, is like we are not compassionate to ourselves. A,
Right on.
a millionth of what we should be. We should, as an example, it's like, where did you get those emotions from? Like, why are you so angry that you missed your sugars, right? Your sugars
Yeah.
are so screwed today. Like, give yourself a break, man. Be more compassionate with yourself.
Well, you know what's
This,
interesting? You said something really powerful there. And Susan, my wife, our predator, our production editor here behind the camera, she has a saying that she uses where if you spot it, you've got it. And I
Mhm.
just love it because it fits with what you're saying right now, right? When I go and I can give that empathy, that forgiveness, that compassion, that understanding to someone, I can only see it because I can relate to it. I
Mhm.
have it. I can spot what I got. And
Mhm.
in that, the ability to be around people to support and have support emotionally, the people that are actually dealing with the same issues is priceless, right?
Mhm.
It's really tough to go somewhere that we haven't gone before on a trip. Like you're an adventurer, we're going on a hike together. You actually got to know where you want to go at the end. You got to know where I am to be able to lay out that plan. But the
Mhm.
truth is, if I have never been on that journey before, I can make it so much easier by going to you, going, hey, Bob, what's the best route here? Because you've traveled the path before.
Yeah. But for people that I agree with that 100%. But I would add to that, build a little on that by saying that for for all of us that have failed and failed significant times trying to do stuff, something, anything, and we've learned we've learned something that perhaps that's not for us.
Right.
So we've shut down those gateways. I'd say maybe it's time for us to reflect back and maybe be more compassionate with ourselves about those failures and
Agree.
revisit those failures and see if it's not approachable again, especially for things like um, eating properly or eating better. I shouldn't say properly, eating better, exercising, losing weight, um, sleeping, our sleeping habits, our sleeping patterns, all the stuff that really impacts us in diabetes, right?
Oh,
So it's like
so
it's you always say that there's a fresh start. There's a fresh start to every day, and we can claim that day as a new place and go forward and take action based on a new thought that it is possible.
so yes, we are not what we were yesterday, right? Every night is like a death. Every morning is like a birth, and
Yeah.
it is a fresh start. And I love what you're saying because it ties to the learning, right? Me being the acronym king, right? That fail, that fantastic adventure in learning
Mhm.
means just because I learned through a mistake, that's the gold. What's great about the failure is I learned a way not to do it. And now I've got another way to look at trying it by being around people that are journeying with me and get some feedback and to take that step forward. To be compassionate, you're saying, I think, on ourselves and allow ourselves to go on this journey of transformation as a diabetic it's a must. Like there is no perfect. My diabetes is totally different than every one of our viewers and watch people that are watching this video. So we need to realize that it's unique, but we can use the principles from others that have walked before us to actually have success in a quicker way and have an ability to control our emotions around it and to realize that I'm not unique. I'm not alone in this. This is a battle that applies to all of us. Working on controlling our thinking and our feeling will end up showing much more effective in our hands. And how do we actually move forward, right? It symbolizes that energy, that focused action that will create the momentum of our life, that
Right.
new beginning that you talked about.
Right. And important it's important for us to do that assessment, that evaluation, and prepare and get to the point where we pre-contemplate, contemplate, and prepare to do something, right?
Right on.
And almost all the stuff we talk about, it's always better to do it with support.
Yes.
And there's a couple ways to get support, right? It could be another person, it could be a friend, but it could be joining a group
Yeah.
of people that are on the same path as you. But it also can be things like watching videos or reading, getting more educated about it, becoming master of your diabetes, and making a commitment to that sort of stuff too. So much good information that's available.
So I want to talk on actions then a little bit here. Our hands. What are we going to do? You made a couple points that I really want to expand on. So first, the amount of education. So we are an education, training, and mentoring organization. We help provide uncommon solutions for people. But there's such a vast amount of really good education out there, whether it be through your diabetes association, if you live in Canada, the United States, Europe, there's a local or national diabetes association that will provide amazing education on the subject. If you're at the beginning of the journey or you're advanced, it's a never ending journey of learning, right? It's going to a group, whether it be a Facebook group of diabetes or a medical organization that is educating on the different types of medical devices or new treatments. We can look and take action in a way that will really help. But I think the part that I have found personally, one of the most effective things in my life that's changed my life, I talk about it a lot with proximity, but it's really that coaching and mentoring. And they're very similar, right? Because it's focused in on me and the coach is asking, what do I need? Right? And we're in a group of people that are all able to relate to each other. But Bob, there's a big difference between coaching and someone having all the knowledge, let's just say, from school, from certifications, from education, and from training, and then someone who is a mentor. That mentor is someone that not only has knowledge, but they've actually applied it. They've been where I want to go. Because a coach may have not even have diabetes as an example. Most doctors, most diabetic nutritionalists, coaches, they're really good, but they're not diabetics. So they can't actually give exact experiential antidotes of what happened here, there, and the sharing of that to learn with you in that capacity. Whereas a mentor, such as myself or others, that I've been through the valley, I've been up the hill and then back down and up and overcoming the challenges of diabetes as a diabetic. That is the ability to mentor someone because I've walked the path that someone else is wanting to walk. And I'm not saying I'm the only one. I'm saying, but anybody that can, as a diabetic, get into a group with other diabetics, peer-to-peer mentoring is power. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, yes, the opportunity is very exciting if you want to change, if you want um, to achieve something very important for yourself. So the the thing that slows people down is their own personal motivations. What are they will like? Let's face it. If you're going to take action to improve your health, to go from, let's say, being unfit to fit, what's your motivation for doing that? You have to have a clear objective, a clear goal in mind to do that. You have to have a picture of what you want to achieve.
And why?
Yeah, that's right. And when you have that picture, now a mentor can help with that, right? A mentor can help you decide what you want to do. But at the end of the day, we're all individuals and motivation comes from within. It's intrinsic, right?
Right.
And so it's us making the call. It's us finding the mentor. It's us paying for the mentor. It's these sort of things. Like, what's it worth to us in the end? And that's, people have huge barriers to overcome some of these things that stop them from doing things. Have you ever heard of it, analysis and paralysis?
Yes.
You're so busy analyzing what you're doing, but you never take action. It's just a human condition too. It's like I'm so deep in diabetes. I'm so deep in my exhaustion, the menu planning. It's overwhelming, man. For me, I just feel like crap all day long. But they don't do. But people don't do that. We know lots
Yeah,
of people that don't take action. It's because they're in the midst of analysis,
that's true.
and as a result, there's paralysis.
Well,
It's
you know, on that point, I think the real simple old sage advice, I guess I could call it, is that if we continue to do what we've always done, we will get what we've always got. And if we're willing to do what others do, then we can actually achieve what they have achieved. And that's why the journeying with people and having support and accountability, therein lies the number one issue for all of us, is that I'm accountable for my health. My coach isn't accountable for my health. I'm coached. I have mentors and all kinds of subjects, right? As you know, I'm a deep diver into many things, and I want to really grow and learn. But the fact is that I have to look in the mirror and say, I'm accountable to ask for help when I need it, to take the actions that I've agreed to in the plan, and then to make those steps one at a time. No, we're not going to go from, if someone has to lose 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds, some of the hundreds of people that I talk to every month, the goals are unique. It's not any less painful. It doesn't matter if someone's trying to lose 10 pounds or they're trying to lose 100. It starts with the first step on the journey.
Mhm.
And those small, consistent, and persistent steps every day are what will build that routine that will create that result.
That's right. And that's why it's so helpful to have a mentor or people that are helping you through that process, because it is many steps over a long period of time.
Yeah.
But you can see the challenge for that person who's, I've tried it before and it's failed, right? Even though I know it's possible, I've not done it. I just, for me, it's like, I can't do it.
Right.
And they just discount it. And also the other thing that people commonly think is, if I try this program, or if I try this new activity, I might fail.
Mm.
Or more powerfully, I will fail because I failed before. Thus, the pain of
Yeah.
failure, the pain of failure, the pain of the thought of failure
True. Yeah.
is massive in the brain, right? It's massive. You can actually, your brain secretes these chemicals that makes you feel really lousy just thinking about it, just
Well,
thinking about the possibility of failure.
well, we know the research that we have done is intense. What I've learned from is that studies have proven that if you think about an experience or you do the experience, the process within our human body is identical. The same chemicals are released, the same physical reactions, heart rate goes up, perspiration occurs, respiratory and lung capacities change. You can be sitting on the chair watching a movie that is in a fight, and you're going through it, and you'll have the same physical body response just seeing it and thinking about it as you do from physically doing it.
Yeah. When I watch MMA,
Yeah.
man, I'm right in there. Like I'm sweating. I'm like I cannot believe it's such an intense experience. Yeah.
So in our last few minutes here, I just want to dig a little bit into what we can actually bring as value and help provide people in this change of helping them in thinking, to really realize that a lot of our emotions are created from our old beliefs, and understandings. An example, a belief I was brought up on, is you never leave food on the plate. That's an old belief of how I was raised. And I clean the plate today. But that belief creates actions that sometimes are not actually healthy, right? So the key there is learning, I had to learn to change my portion size, understanding some things. And all of a sudden, I still could keep the habit, the routine, but I had to adjust something else to make it effective. Mm-hmm. So with our programs, maybe let's just touch real briefly on the key pillars that will actually help transform the foundations of our health, right? how our head, our heart, and our hands will lead to an actual routines within and with these 4 pillars to really solidify our health and help us achieve these goals.
Well, let's just start with just maybe start with an overall concept, which is that the reality is there's some things that I can't do at my age. There's some things I can't be. So I can't be a nuclear physicist. I don't understand physics. I'm such an age. I have no interest in physics, and I don't even understand what a nuclear physicist does. So I'm not going to be a nuclear physicist.
True.
So there's many things that I can't do. But if you take a look at what we're doing in the 4 pillars of diabetic health, the fascinating thing is almost everybody can do these things. You don't have to, yeah, it's within the swing zone of a human being to do the things you can do to get more energy, sleep better, eat right, um, get fitter, right, et cetera, et cetera. Control your blood sugar, um, whatever. These are all doable things for almost everybody that I've ever met. So,
Well, what we're sharing is what we live. This is the real truth, right? So this isn't me saying, oh, do this, and then I'm running off and doing something else. I'm sharing the actual lessons of living with diabetes for almost 30 years now, and what I have done to transform my life and to be able to do things that, truthfully, I know some 20-year-olds aren't able to do, right? And they're healthy, not diabetic. I'm hiking through the Rockies for a week carrying a 100-pound pack. I'm golfing at the national mid-amateur championships. I'm able to do things, and it took time, because wherever we're at in our life, it took time to get to that place, as we talked earlier, right? All those thinking and those choices that we made, those emotions that drove our motion to do things and create the habits and routines we have created our current life circumstance.
yeah.
So it does take time to create new habits, routines, to create a new life circumstance.
Yeah, it's just
the beauty of this is that it takes a lot less time to regenerate the health than it did to lose it.
And also you learn the skills for life. You actually become a master of your diabetes, right?
Yes.
So it's all based in science, and it's a combination of elite education, really terrific routines and habits, customized to a person, and then supported like with coaching, mentoring, and groups, right? People that are going through the same thing as you're going through. So it's a terrific solution for some people.
So real fast, I just wanted to hit the 4 pillars and actually what will deliver them. The main thing that will deliver for each person. Pillar 1 is our mindset and intention. We've talked about that with our head today. It's what's going on between our head and our emotions, and how do we create really focused energy to move forward. And what does that require? My uncle always used to say, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. So we're going to help you create a map that's a massive action plan to really transform your life and have it into the appropriate steps that work for you. It's not about me. It's about using these principles that are proven and science-backed. We're going to help you with pillar 2. We call it uncommon fuel. And that's really our nutrition and our hydration, and how do we fuel our cells, the cells that create the energy and heal us. And it's a long discussion, but we'll help you with appropriate meal planning that will transform your life. It has mine, and will help you lose that weight and manage your A1C scores. It really is just a number, but will help you reduce it to a goal. Pillar 3, that uncommon performance, that the stuff that you talked about right at the beginning, up to 75 pounds, in your 60s.
Took a while
Yeah.
to get there.
But you haven't stopped that journey. Age is just a number, and we can choose, right, what we do. And our movement might be just literally getting up and sitting down 10 times, during a commercial at the very beginning of our journey, to where we're able to, within months or years, be going out for long walks, runs, whatever that goal would be. It's a step-by-step journey, and we'll do it appropriately, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And then lastly, pillar 4, It's uncommon energy. Energy is life, right? That's what dictates everything. So how do we get that? It's rest, it's recovery, it's intelligent selfishness. Those are things that are critical elements. So these 4 pillars really build the foundations of our health.
Mhm.
Do you have any other sort of closing comments for us and for all of our viewers today on the 4 pillars and how it's
Well,
helped you and how it will just transform their lives?
I just think that the dynamics of people being on a Zoom call together from all over Canada, all over the world, talking about what they do is gold, right? It's motivational, it's inspirational, it's educational, and it's so much fun. Like it's it's like it's the best part of the week. It's the best part of a person's week is to get together with others and helping each other out, because it's not just about being helped, it's about you helping others too. So
Yeah.
it's an enlightened, exciting, experiential time.
Well, the other thing I think that's a critical element is that it's live. You are
Yeah.
talking with me. You're talking with our whole team of UD experts. We have nutritionists that are trained specifically to deal with diabetics and that are experts in this field. We have trainers that will customize and deal with it. We have apps that will help you manage and record what you're doing and see what's having the impacts and the results. And we have other diabetics that are willing and wanting to work together to achieve their goals and transform their life to an uncommon diabetic life.
Yeah.
Right?
You ready to become a master. You
Yes.
become a master. So it's a terrific program.
I really want to thank you for today, Bob. This has been a great discussion. And as always, it's powerful when we're together and we're able to work with people in a group environment and a personal way that really impacts life. Now, any last closing comments, encouragement to our viewers?
Well, just a small one. I think for your birthday, you were actually given a gift. You've never actually set a date. I think you got a 20K hike as your
Bingo.
birthday present.
It's funny. You're on my hit list today to actually plan that out here in the next week or so.
What a cheap friend, eh? This is what he gives you for a birthday present. Is what? A 20K hike. Well, that's sick. He's a sick man.
The beauty of our life is it's about experience. And that's really what it's about. How do we create an experience that's something better? And that's what I love. I love time with you, bro. And I'm grateful for today. So, I really want to invite you, the viewer, to journey with us to build your uncommon diabetic foundations of health. Together we can create your map, a massive action plan to build the foundations that will improve your energy and health starting now. Our UD Foundations program and community will provide you with a revolutionary and science-based approach towards your diabetic health. We'll help you lower your A1C, lose weight, gain strength, and improve your ability to live your ideal form of life. So just click the link below to book a free health strategy session with myself. I want to thank you for joining us today. And also remember, click that subscribe button and bell so you don't miss any episodes of UDTV. Most importantly, remember you're not alone. Together we can create your success formula to live your uncommon diabetic life. And I really look forward to meeting you in your free health strategy session. Until next week, be uncommon.